Welcome to Infinite Physics, a never-ending journey into the world of physics.
Hello students, welcome back to Infinite Physics YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to discuss about PUC First Year Physics, chapter number 1, Units and Measurements. In our day-to-day life, we come across so many physical quantities and we are measuring so many physical quantities. For example, if I want to measure the length of this pen, after the measurement I'll say the length of this pen is 13 centimeter. I'm not only saying 13 but I am using centimeter. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು measurement ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ the length of the pen is 13 ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ it won't give any information. To get a complete information, we must mention unit. That centimeter is necessary. That unit is necessary. So, what is unit? Unit is a internationally accepted reference standard to measure a physical quantity. So, now question comes, what is physical quantity? Now, let's see physical quantity. Any quantity which can be measured is known as physical quantity, or else we can define like a measurable quantity is known as ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ. ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಯಾವುದನ್ನು ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಲೆಂತ್, ವೇಟ್, ಮಾಸ್, ಟೈಮ್, ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್, ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ, ಸ್ಪೀಡ್. ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಸೋ ಮೆನಿ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಮೆಜರ್. ದೋಸ್ measurable quantities are known as physical quantities. To get a clear image or else to get a clear picture about this physical quantity, I'll take one example. ಸೊ ಈ ಒಂದು ಇಮೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಇರುವೆನ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಹಳ ಹಸಿವಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಈ ಹಸಿವಾದಾಗ ಈ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಶುಗರ್ ಕ್ಯೂಬ್ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹಸಿವಾದಾಗ ಇರುವೆಗೆ ಶುಗರ್ ಕ್ಯೂಬ್ ಕಾಣಿಸಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬಹಳ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಖುಷಿ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಇಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಟು ದಿಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ವಿ ಮೆಜರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್? ಈ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದಾ? ಎಸ್, ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಮೆಜರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್. ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ physical quantity. Or else can we measure time taken by the ant to reach from this point to this point? A time anna now measure madak sadhyana? Yes, we can measure time taken by the ant to reach from this point to this point. But in this case, after reaching this point, iruvege ಎಷ್ಟು ಖುಷಿ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯನಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆರ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್ ಈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹಸುವಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯನಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟಿಗೆ ರೀಚ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ನೋವಾಗ್ತಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಾವು ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯನಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅವೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನ ನಾವು ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್, a measurable quantity is known as physical quantity, but these happiness, sadness, anger, those are not physical quantities, but those are psychological factors. We cannot measure psychological factors. We only can measure a physical quantity. So we are saying a measurable quantities are known as physical quantities. So the next one is types of physical quantities. There are two different types of physical quantities. So the first one is fundamental physical quantities and the second one is derived physical quantities. Let's see one by one. So the first one is fundamental physical quantities. A physical quantities which are independent to each other, or else a physical quantities which doesn't depend on any other physical quantities are known as fundamental physical quantities. So you see here, physical quantities which are independent to each other are called fundamental physical quantities. Let's see examples. So these 7 are the fundamental physical quantities: length, mass, time, electric current, temperature, amount of substance and luminous intensity. That means these 7 fundamental physical quantities, they are independent to each other. They doesn't depend on any other physical quantity. That is why we are calling these are fundamental physical quantities. So the next one is derived physical quantities. A physical quantities which are expressed in terms of fundamental physical quantities. That means what? We are expressing these physical quantities in terms of fundamental physical quantities. We know already what is fundamental physical quantity. A quantity which are independent to each other. So we are taking the help of those fundamental physical quantities. Let's see one example here. So I'm taking one example that is a derived physical quantity. So I'm taking speed as an example. We know already speed is nothing but distance by time. Now focus carefully. Distance is a fundamental physical quantity and the time is also a fundamental physical quantity. That means what? We are expressing speed in terms of distance and time. Those distance and time are fundamental physical quantities. That is why our definition is a physical quantities which are expressed in terms of fundamental physical quantities are known as derived physical quantities. And we have some more examples here. So area is nothing but length into breadth, or else we have volume is nothing but length into breadth into height. Again, those are fundamental physical quantities. So speed we already know, distance by time, velocity displacement by time. So velocity in the sense that is a derived physical quantity. Velocity is equal to displacement by time. Displacement is again fundamental physical quantity. Time is also fundamental physical quantity. Please keep in mind derived physical quantity in the sense of physical quantities which are expressed in terms of fundamental physical quantities. About fundamental physical quantities as well as derived physical quantities. Now it is a time to understand how to express a measurement of a physical quantity. That means ನಾವು ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಮೆಜರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಹೌ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಅ physical quantity or else how to express a measurement of a physical quantity is very necessary. Now focus. A physical quantity is equal to magnitude into unit. Magnitude is denoted by letter N and the unit is denoted by letter U. That means a physical quantity must include magnitude as well as unit. I'll take one example here. Please carefully listen. Suppose we measure a length of a rod and we write like this. Focus carefully. I'm measuring the length of the rod. I'm writing answer like this. Length is equal to 30. I'm not mentioning unit. If I'm not mentioning unit, is it gives complete information about the length? No, it is not giving a complete information about the length. See here, by this expression, we won't get information about the length. Why? Because unit is not mentioned. So unit is very necessary. So then how to express a physical quantity? Like this. Length is equal to 30 meter, whereas 30 is magnitude, meter means that is a unit. This is how we have to express a measurement of a physical quantity. The international system of units. Before directly moving towards this topic, I want to explain something. So ನನಗೆ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಅಕ್ಕಿ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು, ಅಕ್ಕಿ ಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ನಾನು ಅಂಗಡಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಏನು ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನನಗೆ ಒಂದು 50 to 60 grams ಅಕ್ಕಿ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾನು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ನನಗೆ 1 kg ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ 2 kg ಅಕ್ಕಿ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಅದು ಬೇಡ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನಾನು ಕ್ವಿಂಟಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ನನಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕ್ವಿಂಟಲ್ ಅಕ್ಕಿ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಅದು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನನಗೆ 1 ಸೇರ್ ಅಕ್ಕಿ ಬೇಕು ಅವರೆಲ್ಸ್ 2 ಸೇರ್ ಅಕ್ಕಿ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಬಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಲೋಕಲ್ ಪ್ರದೇಶಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರೆಲ್ಸ್ ಲೋಕಲ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸಸ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಸೇರಿಂದ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಅವರೆಲ್ಸ್ ನಾನು ಇದನ್ನೇ ಬೇರೆ ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿ, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಬ್ರಿಟನ್ಗೋ ಅಮೇರಿಕಾಗೋ ಆಸ್ಟ್ರೇಲಿಯಾಗೋ ಹೋಗಿ 1 ಸೇರ್ ಅಕ್ಕಿ ಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅರ್ಥನೇ ಆಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ವೇ ಆಫ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್, ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಬೇರೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. ಅವರು ಬೇರೆ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನಾವು ಬೇರೆ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ದರ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ದ ಸೈಂಟಿಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಇನ್ ದ ಇಯರ್ 1971 ದೇ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಡ್ ಒನ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ SI ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ದೇ ಗಿವ್ ಸಮ್ SI ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಇನ್ ದ ಇಯರ್ 1971 ದೇ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಡ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್. ಬಟ್ ಆ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಬರೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮೊದಲು ಈ 3 ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅವಾಗ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದೋಸ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್? ದೋಸ್ ಆರ್ CGS ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ MKS ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ FPS ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ಅದಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ CGS ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್? ವಿ ಆರ್ ಮೆಜರಿಂಗ್ ಲೆಂತ್, ಮಾಸ್, time. Okay, we are taking only 3 physical quantities and we are explaining CGS system, MKS system and FES system. Now focus carefully. In case of a CGS system, length is measured in centimeter and the mass is measured in gram and the time is measured in seconds. So that kind of a system is nothing but CGS system. Simple. And the second one is MKS system. MKS means what? Length is measured in meter, mass is measured in kilogram and the time is measured in second. That is MKS system. And the third one is FES system. FES system means what? Length is measured in foot and the mass is measured in pound and the time is measured in seconds. These are the three international system of units. First one is CGS system, second one is MKS system and the third one is FES system. So now international system of units over. Now focus on SI system. SI means what? The system of units which is at present internationally accepted for the measurement. That kind of a system is known as SI system. SI means what? System of international, that was developed in the year 1971. Before 1971 there were three different international system of units were there. So the first one is CGS and the second one is FES and the third one is MKS system. You know already these things. And the next concept is very important, fundamental units. But you know already about fundamental quantities. But fundamental quantities are different, fundamental units are different. So now focus on fundamental units. The units used to express the fundamental quantities are known as fundamental units. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟೀಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಬಳಸ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ ಆ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಆರ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್: ದಿ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ನೋನ್ as fundamental units. The simplest definition: the fundamental units means what? The units of fundamental quantities are known as fundamental units. Now focus on this table. What is this table? It include 7 fundamental physical quantities. You know already 7 fundamental physical quantities: length, mass, time, temperature, electric current, luminous intensity and amount of substance. So now we are writing units for those fundamental physical quantities. So these are the fundamental units. So we measure length in meter, mass in kilogram, time in second, electric current in ampere, temperature in Kelvin, amount of substance in mole and luminous intensity in candela. And the third column is related to what? The symbols of those units, symbols of those fundamental units. Now focus: meter symbol small m, kilogram kg, seconds s, ampere capital A, Kelvin capital K, mole mol and the candela cd. And apart from these 7 fundamental units, we have 2 supplementary physical quantities. What are those supplementary physical quantities? Now focus on this one. In addition to those 7 fundamental physical quantities, we have 2 supplementary physical quantities. Which are those 2 supplementary physical quantities? Focus here. So the first one is plane angle and the second one is solid angle. Plane angle is measured in radian and the solid angle is measured in steradian. So radian symbol is RAD and the steradian symbol is SR. Now we have to understand those things, those fundamental units in depth. Okay, first focus on plane angle. You know already plane angle, that means that is related to what? Angle. This angle is nothing but plane angle. It is the ratio of arc length to the radius of the circle. Now focus on this figure. This is nothing but a circle. What is this? This is radius, correct? This is a radius and this one is arc. So what we are saying, so plane angle is nothing but theta. Theta is equal to arc length by radius of the circle. Arc length by radius. So plane angle is simple. It is the ratio of arc length to the radius of the circle. So the simple. So theta is equal to what? Theta is equal to S by R. S means what? Arc length. Okay. Arc length divided by radius. R means radiate. We have to express plane angle in case of radius. So plane angle SI unit radian. This is all about plane angle. So the second one is solid angle. It is the ratio of spherical area enclosed to the square of the radius. Area divided by square of the radius. That is simple. So solid angle is equal to area enclosed divided by square of the radius. That is measured in terms of steradian. Plane angle in radian and solid angle in steradian. Now we understood 7 fundamental units as well as 2 supplementary units. I repeat those again. So now focus: length in meter, mass in kilogram, time in seconds, temperature in Kelvin, amount of substance in mole, luminous intensity in candela, and 2 supplementary units: plane angle in radian and the solid angle in steradian. This is all about supplementary units as well as fundamental units. In this video, we covered so many concepts related to first chapter, and the remaining concepts will be discussed in the next video. So that's it for the video. Hit the subscribe button, keep the notification on. See you in the next video. Thank you.